Deleted session. September 28, 1980. Good evening. Now, underline 5 times. Whenever there are difficulties, do not concentrate upon the problem. Though the following advice runs counter to all accepted ideas of common sense, at such times look for what is right in your lives, rather than becoming overly concerned with what is wrong. Otherwise, the intense desire for a solution can lead you to concentrate upon what is wrong, so that it becomes the entire issue. The sessions that Ruber read this evening, that group, contained excellent material that was, at the time, used to bring about considerable understanding and improvement in Ruber's condition. You would both do well to reread and discuss the information simply so that it is out in the open again. You can see what still applies, or what issues you think you have cleared up. The material on work ideas connected with Ruber still does have application. Many years ago, his experience with different editors in his short story publishing days led him to see that a story that hit one editor might not hit another, that his work would be much more easily accepted by some editors than others, and that some, it seemed, regardless of long enthusiastic letters, would not buy a thing. Therefore, his readership with 10 Mossmen was quite valuable to him, for it took a good deal of the unpredictable natural out of freelance writing, particularly where projects like books were concerned rather than short stories, and particularly in an area that was itself controversial. All in all, he felt that to be a fairly reliable and adequate framework, whether or not he might get better terms someplace else, financially or in other ways. He long ago settled upon you and his writing, however. This material should be read in conjunction with the sessions just mentioned, dealing with his ideas about work and creativity. He felt frightened over the disagreements that year about contracts, about Tan's frequent mention that he might leave. The matter of Yale led him in his own way to think of his work as if it were to be an institution, every word recorded, so that you only wrote down what you wanted other people to know, and therefore somewhat discouraged spontaneity of expression. I am not agreeing here necessarily, but stating his reaction. On the other hand, such an alliance seemed to bring some kind of prestige. He felt also that my ideas in mass events and his ideas in God of Jane were almost bound to bring about some controversy from the beginning, for reasons he largely worked out for himself, and they are related in his book. The latest disclaimer issue simply falls into the same pattern, and therefore was added to it. But all of those issues involve his feelings and beliefs about work and creativity. Any issues with you also involved work and creativity, along with the expectations that you had of each other, not just in your married roles, but as partners and colleagues in your artistic endeavors. Overall, being is its own reward, not that there are not others, but that being obviously makes all of your experiences possible, so you cannot tie being up in a package of work only, regardless of the nature of the work. All of this goes back to ideas that existence must be justified, and Ruber's early ideas that writing would justify his life, but writing should express life, and is an expression of being, an expression of spontaneity, an expression of emotion, of body as well as mind. His early writing and his best later writing spring alike from that realization. When he forgets ideas of our work's responsibility or how respectable he should appear, and simply does it because it is a natural expression of his being, one expression among others. Painting and poetry, cleaning the house, seeing the taxman, doing chores, these are all expressions of being. They add to its quality, to its texture. They are part of life's art. They are the raw stuff from which art comes, whether or not, in any given case, you can see the connections. Now, Rupert's hips are definitely changing their positions. Certain joints that worked very poorly are releasing, allowing portions of the body to move in new directions. His body is thrusting itself upward. Much work is done when he is in bed. It can be uncomfortable, but far less so with understanding and a bit of patience. He becomes frightened for the reasons given in late sessions, and again, he can use as much reassurance as you can give him, as much understanding. And the better the communication between you, the better the entire situation. You must both try to have a larger perspective. You go through periods, of course, where you utilize framework 2 more proficiently than you do at other times, but reminding yourselves in conversation of framework 2's existence and importance can be an invaluable assistance. In the next few days, have Rupert read over that group of sessions. Enjoy the intimate behavior of life, the compensations that are available, and your own relationship, which provides more creative solutions than you realize. You should both be more spontaneous with loving touches and conversations, and see even your difficulties existing in rich environments of being, in which you are not isolated. You are in the stream of life because you are alive. This will be a short session, but as always it can help you considerably if you do more than just read it, and take it to heart as well. You both have purposes in life. You are coming to grips with issues that you were bound to grapple with, and you are dealing with the challenges that are involved. Therefore, trust that despite your difficulties, you are doing what you set out to do, and remember that the difficulties are not absolute, and avoid thinking of them in absolute terms. End of session. A fun good evening, and do not give up on yourselves.